Hello, my dear alchemist. Welcome to my studio. Today, I want to invite you into my studio flow. Today, I want to invite you to my creation process. And so, why don't we take a deep, 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 deep breath in together and out. All right. Hi, my name is Aziza. I'm an artist. I'm an artist, alchemist, and this is Fear Alchemy. In today's episode, we are going to design a portal, design a piece, life together. In today's episode, we are gonna work on a piece from a Citrinitas era. Before I start, before I go in this process, I want to explore the idea of the portal. What is portal? A portal, the way I envision it, the way I imagine it, is a space that takes you from one place to another, from one realm to another. A portal is a space that I want to discuss this through the points of inner work, through the understanding of the inner work. This is a space that takes your transformation from one point to another. The portal is a space that acts as a bridge, acts as a transformation space to take you from one version to another. You might recognize portals through movies. You remember the Doctor Strange, how he was opening the portals? Or the alchemists from Full Metal Alchemy opening up the portals. So there is different versions of portals, and pop culture explored it deeply. But today, I want to explore it through my own culture, through my own heritage. Through Kyrgyz patterns and through the Islamic geometry. All right. Before I dive deep into that, I'm inviting the flow. I'm inviting the movement. I'm inviting the physical movements. Through physical movements, I invite the movements of my heart. My heart beats. With each heartbeat, I invite the creative flow running through my veins, running through my entire being. I invite the flow of ideas into this session. I invite the opening of the hearts. I invite the clarity of the mind. I invite the clarity of ideas. I invite the fluidity of ideas. All right. All right. Why don't we go ahead and let's get started? It's always like so hard to start fresh, start from a new, start a new piece. It's like the fear of ruining it, you know. I have this white space to do the work that I want to do, but now I'm experiencing this fear of messing it up because how white the plate is, because how white the beginning is. And so let me like just sort of like overcome my fears of starting. I just need to start and everything will flow and everything will go all right. Today I want to focus on the edges. Like I want to focus on the edges because this is where it all kind of activates. This is where the attention starts. So it's sort of from the edges flows down and into the composition, right? Into the realm where you want to go. And these edges, they serve as portals. They serve as gates to take you from one place into another, take you from one realm to another. Take you from one state into another. And so today, I want to focus on the edges. This piece, and just by looking at it, I already kind of sort of can experience the quality of the space. Let me just like straighten it up so we can see it better. Whoa, yes. Wow. Kind of want to make it straight. Let's go. Okay. I want to start with, all right, let me collect my thoughts because like, yes, okay, I think I know. Let's sort of explore, let's sort of see what's up, what's happening. Like the way I like to work. Let me bring this closer so we could see it so clearly, see so closely. All right, to draw an H for my portal, I want to tap into my heritage. I want to tap into the Kyrgyz culture and use Kyrgyz patterns. All right. So I want to build this portal sort of for clarity. There is this message would be in the middle. And to really understand the message, we need clarity of mind, clarity of thoughts, and clarity you know, it's like when you wear glasses and suddenly everything is HD, you know, I want that feeling. I want that effect. And so, uh-huh, really look, understanding the logic of Kyrgyz patterns. I don't know, like I feel like you can always, I feel like it's always a good idea to start with the triangles. It's like in Kyrgyz culture, triangles represent, uh, you know, represent strength, represent protection. And so since the shape of it is already a triangle, I want to start with triangles, sort of do this repetition of the shape, sort of do this repetition of a triangle theme that's already going on, sort of. All right, let's go. So good news is that triangle is my favorite shape. Triangle is my favorite shape. Mm. Oh. Okay, now there is no point of return. We started and I just need to go. I just need to flow with how it all started. And starting with the triangles within the huge triangle, I think it's a powerful move. Powerful move. All right. Okay, well, let me get all of my tools to make it. Is it thinner or thicker? I think it's the same size. I want to make it in a way that it would be like I don't have to measure anything. It's just like happens because of the shape of everything. So let's create in that way because I don't want to be measuring here all the time. So the way I see this could be possible, I'm just gonna erase this because, you know, all right, here we go. Let's go. Let's flow. Okay. Let's do a proof of concept real quick. Can we build triangles like this? Okay. You know, we sort of can. And so, but these triangles, when I do them like that, it's just like they don't turn out. Or are they turning out? All right. Exciting times, like starting a project, starting a piece from anew and building the foundation for the piece. It's like always so nerve-wracking because, you know, this is the foundation, and with this foundation everything is gonna like unfold. And so I better do a good job with my foundation, you know. It's like building a structure for your piece, for your artwork, building a space where it could be um, you know, hold, could be held. Oh man. All right. You know, like that's what I could call like good enough. I'm just gonna keep flowing. I'm just gonna keep going because um you know, I can't get into my perfectionist sort of self. At the same time, I want to make sure the structure is good. Oh my god, this is really like, it feels like high stakes. But Aziza, let's just flow. Let's just go. Let's just explore. Okay. Let's just, you know, be playful. Let's just, you know, be whoa 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 whoa. Playful. Mm-hmm. You know, just be playful. It's like when you're working on big pieces, there is always like part of you which is like, everything should be perfect, everything should be ideal to make this piece because this is how like I imagined it, you know. But then you gotta sometimes realize that, you know, with that perfectionism, like with that being like, okay, I want to be perfect, I want to make everything perfect, so aligned that, you know, you're sort of making it stop you from doing the piece, you know. Like for me to go through that space was like, whoa. And now I'm letting go of the perfectionism, and now I'm just like, you know, I'm just gonna play because, you know, playing with the ruler and like just flowing like this rather than being like obsessively measuring everything feels freeing, feels like um oh my god. I'm just gonna like do this because uh, you guys, I'm recording everything alone, and so it's sometimes a lot to navigate everything, you know. I feel like what I'm doing lately has been like stepping outside of my comfort zone, and obviously I'm still like learning, I'm still exploring how to navigate these live streams, because you know, I never did it in this extent. Like I would do live streams like when I would like release my artworks, right? But never the creation process itself. And so this is like completely new for me. I'm like being really vulnerable here, like inviting you in the creation process itself. Yeah, it feels like another layer of like getting, you know, connecting with you, another layer of you inviting me into my world. And creation process for me is something that's like oh my god, it's like very personal for me. It's the same as like journaling, you know, like I never let anyone read my journals. And creating this piece for me, creation process for me, is as like doing my journaling. And so inviting you here into the space feels like I'm like, you know, reading my diary to you. That's how it feels like. And sometimes I'm like, whoa. But like I also realize, like, you know, I just want to be like, you know how I am myself when I journal, when I do my diary. And so here, like I want to be the same way, because like creation process is like that to me. Like I gotta be honest to create something, I gotta be like truthful to create something, you know. And so like inviting you in the space, it's like inviting another person and reading my journal to you, you know. And so it feels deeply vulnerable, it feels deeply like, I want to stop it right now, but at the same time I know this is my like threshold that I need to pass to be truly seen, to be truly myself. Like I know that I got to do it through being truthful, through being authentic, through being myself. And so let me turn on the music so I could, you know, continue with this flow. Let's go, girl. All right. Ay, 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 ay. All right. So, where were we? We are still here, flowing and exploring. All right. So my idea is to create triangles within the triangles. Yeah, that speaks to my soul, that speaks to my heart. And so I'm gonna do it. Trying this method of like going live when creating an art is really interesting. It like, I know it's like I can feel how this process is stretching me in a like mental way where I have to be like come out of it, you know. And I know this is what I'll need to be doing, because like I know every time I feel stretched like this, I feel like I'm you know, in the process of like becoming, you know, process of like emerging, you know. And so question for the audience: where in your life do you feel stretched? Attention to that area, because that area is where you are about to expand. That area is where about to you become something. That area is your expansion area. And so when you feel stretched like this, when you feel like, you know, this is too much, this is like a lot, like I don't think I can do it, I don't think it's possible, like, you know, feels like a little bit beyond you, feels like a little bit out there to do the thing. But then you should realize that that exact thing is here to take you from one version to another. Okay. All right. All right. What else? I don't know if you can see it from above like that, but this is what I'm working on right now. Putting on the triangles. The triangles. The reason I chose patterns to make this piece is I feel like patterns tells you a story, tells you the process, the action. It's like whether it's, you know, the shapes, whether it's flowers, whether it's the human actions. Looking at patterns tells you a story, tells you the unfolding, tells you the movement, tells you how the object moves, tells you how the object evolves. And I feel like recognizing patterns, reading the patterns, whether it's, you know, Kyrgyz patterns or any patterns, human patterns, the patterns of your actions, you can actually read read the secrets of the world, read the secrets of the universe. All right, why don't we go ahead and do it on this side? All right, something didn't align. Okay, here's the thing, I'm trying not to be a perfectionist, but I know the good structure is necessary for this piece to unfold. You know, I know that the good structure is necessary for this piece to work the way it needs to work. And so I'm thinking how to make it work without like erasing everything, you know? Yeah, something really didn't align here. Whoa, it's okay. You know, it's okay. It really reminds me of a dream I had the other day. It was about seeing a big tower, beautiful tower. And I was like afar from the tower, and you know, the tower was falling, the tower was like crumbling to dust, you know, falling. And then in my dream, I was like really far away from the tower, and I was just like recording it, you know, recording it. And I was like, someone didn't build a solid structure. That dream like really hit with me, struck with me. And I'm like, you know, all about building solid structures. So when the time comes, the earthquakes come, you know, it doesn't, your tower doesn't fall, your tower stays strong. But for the tower to stay strong, it needs to have a solid structure. The foundation upon which you're going to build everything. You know? All right. Something there is not aligning. Here is not aligning. Well, what am I supposed to do right now? Why don't I move things around? Why don't I shift things around? Why don't I sort of create the movement, create the flow, and invite the unconventional thinking, invite the unconventional ideas into this process. All right, let's flow, let's go. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I am seeing right now is the pattern is unfolding. The pattern is definitely unfolding, and it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, I think the pattern is definitely unfolding. Okay. I feel like I just should keep going, like because um, yes, I should definitely keep going. I feel like, yeah, I shouldn't fall into the trap of perfectionism. You know, yes, totally. Whoa. Every creation process is like so interesting. Like every piece, it sort of like evokes different like uh, different emotions, different, you know, places of expansion. It's like the act of creating itself is like so interesting, because for me it's not just like creating the piece, right? Like obviously there is like involvement of physically creating the piece, making it possible, but then there is also spiritually, mentally, something shifts within me. Something is like evolves. I feel like I'm being reborn every time I create a new piece. I go through its own like portal, through its own like transformation space. This piece is interesting because I feel like this piece is calling me sort of being like to show up, to show up as I am. to show up with my authenticity to show up life. It's really hard to explain because, like, you know, after finishing my last season, albedo season, I was like, something needs to shift, and I felt deep calling about like creating live sessions, being live, like the act of being live, the act of like creating the piece live felt really interesting to me, and I wanted to tap into that. Because I feel like through being live, through being in the moment and inviting you in the moment with me, this artwork is meant to be created. Yes. It's like showing up through fear, showing up through vulnerability, showing up like through sharing this moment felt like important this season. I felt like this would be like the next stage, the next unfolding in this Fear Alchemy journey. All right, so now we have the triangle edges. We have the triangles, and now let me see how long this session has been. 47 minutes. That's not too bad. 47 minutes. All right. I feel like working on the next layer. The next layer would be this section over here, this like falling down. This curve section that draws your eye into the composition, draws your eye into the portal itself, like where you want to be transformed. Here you go. Yeah. And so we have the first layer of protection, right? You're protected to do this work. It's safe to do this work. You know, there is this protection with mountains all around the edge, protecting the realm. And then the next layer, next section would be the drop, the curve, the showing into the portal itself. And my next piece, my next pattern, I also want to keep drawing from Kyrgyz culture and Kyrgyz patterns because, like, I love their symbology, I love their meaning, I love their like energy. And because I'm a Kyrgyz artist, of course, I'm gonna keep using Kyrgyz patterns. The next pattern that I was thinking is selecting a pattern, something about clarity of mind, something about clarification, because this piece I'm designing for seeing clearly. Okay, seeing clearly. And it gives me the energy of the head. It gives me the energy of the head area, the third eye area. There is a pattern in Kyrgyz culture that we explored in last seasons, and I want to reuse it. It's the pattern of the heads and the comb, yeah, of the head and the comb. And so when you put these patterns together at the head and the comb, the meaning of it is brushing your hair physically. But through brushing your hair physically, you clarify your mind. You open your mind. You open your mind. And so the next pattern, I feel like, is about opening the mind. Open the mind. Wow. Opening the mind, seeing clearly. Seeing clearly. So, some rulers don't work, so seeing things clearly. Okay, let's keep going. So I think I'm gonna use this. Perfect. So I know I'm meant to like draw a line. Draw a line. It's interesting to work with this curve because, let me show it to you so you'd understand clearly what I mean. Here you go. Here you go. Sweet. Now you can see it. Isn't that super cool? I can like just bring my camera here and show you closer the details of what I'm doing. I think this is really cool. Like, of course, like doing lives is like stretching for me in a like psychological sense, but also stretching in the sense of like my skills. My skills of bringing it all together. And figuring it out all of the systems for creating live sessions, right? Which involves a lot of like technical yes, a lot of like technical, oh my god, technical work basically, which involves a lot of like troubleshooting. But I feel like with each episode, here we go, with each episode we are sort of like, I'm sort of like evolving in a sense, because my first life, my very first life that I got happened, like the sound was really bad, and the video was really glitchy. But I showed up, I was like, I'm gonna just like press record and go. And that's what I did. And I know this episode for sure is like more thought through in a sense of like technical details. And I know with each episode I'm gonna get better in like doing live sessions, you know. Ah, yes, as always, the idea is not perfection. You know, the goal is not perfection. The goal is showing up. The goal is, you know, being present. The goal is always like, you know, yeah, that's my motto. Is like the goal is not perfection. The goal is showing up. However you are ready, not ready, it's good enough, you know? And you're good enough is good enough to do the thing. And every time you do it, every time you you know, show up, the thing that you're doing is gonna get better. You know, when I started my YouTube journey, I started with like a phone, my iPhone 13. I just showed up, and I like when I just started it, I was like, I didn't have the lights, anything. I just had my tripod and my iPhone 13. And so since then, I feel like there's been a growth because like every time I chose to show up, and each time I was showing up, I would get better and buy new equipment, find new resources to do the thing. And so I know that these live streams are also going to get better in the sense of like actually doing them. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah. To show up just as I am, because what I have is enough, my knowledge is enough, my talent is enough. I am enough to do this session, to do this artwork. Perfect. It's like my motto of this season. This like helps me every time, just like embodily show up. Just show up. And every time I'm showing up, it's getting better and better. And that's like what makes me hopeful for every time I show up, every time I stretch myself. Okay. So, and you guys, you know, like through showing up, and like talking, expressing my voice, expressing, create yourself like creatively. Like I realize my like throat chakra like is getting unlocked. I'm realizing my throat chakra is being like, whoa, Aziza, you can talk now because you've been doing it for far long, and now it's not as like as scary as before. Kind of like trained you in a sense. All right, I want to keep playing the music. All right, because when I first started this YouTube channel, right, started this YouTube journey, like most of my videos were like sort of silent, where I was not saying anything because like I was like so scared of talking, scared of like, you know, just being free and like expressing myself. But then like through doing it long enough, you know, this like sort of like the act of showing up, act of like doing it, it transformed me in like substantial sense, because like now I can actually like feel free in my expression. Like I can feel free how my like even like my throat chakra is not as like tense before, because like when I first started I would be like real tense, like, you know. And maybe like in my first videos you can't really see it, because like, you know, I would be doing it in a sense like, you know, recording and playing and recording, playing and recording, so there was no flow at all. But with doing it longer, I'm realizing like, you know, I'm more free. I'm realizing it's not as scary as like, it's not as scary as I thought before, you know. It's not as scary just to talk. It's not as scary just to like being in the flow, you know, expressing yourself. Yes. That required a lot of like physical work, obviously coming up and showing up, but also mental work. Like I had to go through like lots of blockages of like, Aziza, you don't have to be perfect. You can just be you. And that idea, just being me, just expressing it in however I am, in you know, in all of my imperfections, is just like I am enough to express myself in everything. And like that idea was like so mind-blowing. And so every time I'm like showing up and I'm like, you don't have to be perfect, you can just show up, just, you know, be you, be authentically you. Whoa, 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 whoa. All right. All right. I think the video is like getting long. This session is like 1 hour. I feel like it's a good process for today, good progress for today. Tomorrow I'm gonna come back and continue on this pattern. Yes, what time is it, by the way? Yes, it's 3:03. That's cool. Yeah, tomorrow I'm gonna come back and continue on this piece. Just show up step by step and see how everything unfolds. Yeah. Yeah. There is one side of me that like wants to resume, but there is also another side of me is like, you know, Aziza, you can take step by step, you know. And so I'm gonna take it step by step, step by step. So see you tomorrow, live here on YouTube. As always, it was such a pleasure to have you here. It was such a pleasure to share my process with you. See you in the next video. I love you and bye.